Hello and welcome to Racing in Queensland. I'm your host Jesse McDonald and my co-host Paul Knight. Welcome, Paul.
Jess, lovely to be here on this historic night for us.
Our first night of the show on TV, and it's a pleasure to be here. Now, the big news, the big talking point of the Racing Carnival's Black Caviar, and she's racing this weekend.
She is indeed. It's not often we get a champion racehorse up here like Black Caviar, and it's a great privilege. So I hope the public take the time to go out to Doomben on Saturday to see Black Caviar. She's going for her 13th win in a row. She is undefeated. Hard to tip against her.
I think it's almost impossible to tip against her. The only way she will get beaten if she doesn't turn up.
Well, exactly.
Now, what do you like in the race?
Well, it's hard to tip, like it is hard to tip against her. So for second, I've gone for Haylist. He trialled at Randwick last week and put in a superb effort. He has filled a few placings behind her recently. If she wasn't around, he'd probably would be saying that he's a champion. And for third, I've thrown in the 3-year-old Buffering. He's been running some great races lately, and I think he's up to the challenge.
He is. Well, obviously I'm tipping Black Caviar. It's almost impossible to tip against her. Like I said, the only way she will be beaten if she doesn't turn up. I like Buffering for second. I think he's a horse that's on the up. He's on the improve. He's a last start, beat a Group 1 winner, and definitely going to be very hard to beat. And I'm putting in the local horse, Albert the Fat, for third. So I'm tipping 6, 5 and 4. Now it's that time of the show where we're going to look at a stallion of Queensland racing called Hotel Grand, who stands at Racetree Stud. Before us is Hotel Grand, Mark, a lovely individual.
He is, Jess. He's quite an outstanding looking thoroughbred. He's been referred to a nice horse by a lot of good judges. So yes, no, he's a nice type.
How many runners has he had?
Well, he's had 37 named foals. Obviously, his oldest are 2-year-olds at the moment, and he's already had 2 2-year-old winners so far, which was very exciting, considering a lot of people didn't think he'd get a 2-year-old. So we're very happy the way he started, especially getting a stakes winner.
The industry primes a lot of investment into 2-year-olds, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, especially in Queensland too, with the cutest scheme of things. But he's proven himself now that he can get them, and to a good level. So we think they should be sourcing him now for that for the 2-year-old winners, not just thinking it'd be a 3-year-old.
Generally, why was it thought that he would make better 3-year-old horses?
I think mainly being because he's by Grand Lodge. I mean, the horse himself had 9 starts for 2 Group 1 wins, trained by Anthony Cummings, of course. And just he's a lovely big horse and got good length about him. And to look at him, he himself didn't win as a 2-year-old. He was a 3-year-old, so maybe that's where they get it from. But if you look at the horses as individuals, he's getting a really precocious early running type, as well as one that you would think would run over early 3-year-old.
And how many mares would you be looking at him standing this season?
Well, he's got a good following with a couple of key shareholders in the horse who've got some nice mares who come back to him each year. So, look, off the back of Metonymy winning black type and then winning a good race in Melbourne in town, we look forward to him covering a good book of mares. You know, hopefully he get the 60, 70 mares, which would be good for him.
And his service fee?
He is 13,000.
Quite good value again.
Very good value, yeah.
There seems to be a lot of good value now in the current marketplace for sires. Yeah,
well, I think it's pretty easy. If you don't get any mares. You know, it's that's the way it is. The climate's pretty tough at the moment to attract people to send their mares to your stallion. So hopefully these boys keep kicking goals like they are. We keep the service fee realistic and go from there.
Can you fill us in on what's raced so far?
Yes, Jess. Hotel. He's had 11 runners for 2 winners already off the current season. Predominantly the best horse he's had thus far was Metonymy, trained by Peter Moody. She's been a winner at 2, and she won a race at Moonee Valley, and she also ran second in the Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes, which was Group 3. and she's also run third in the Merson Cooper Stakes are listed. And to note, she also ran a gallant fourth in the Blue Diamond this year. So.
And that was his first crop?
That's his first crop, yeah. Yeah, she's been really good. And Trevor Miller trains a horse called So Dominant at the Sunshine Coast. He won a race as a 2-year-old, and he's come back into work, and all reports are that he's going to shape up to a good horse. Kelly Sweeter's had a filly, Call Me Paris. She's placed as a 2-year-old in town this year. And Debbie Newham has got one at the Gold Coast called Gotta Be Grand, who's placed in his first start as a 2-year-old. So.
And how many starters has he had as a 2-year-old?
He's had 10 starters, 2-year-old.
Geez, that's a good percentage strike rate.
Yes, that's correct. And a few of those have been, had 3 starts or so. So we're very happy with the way he's kicked off this horse, and looks to get, obviously they'll train on with the trainers say they've come back in bigger and stronger, and so if they're anything like him, the late 2-year-olds and early 3-year-olds, we should see him feature again, hopefully over the Winter Carnival somewhere. And what an interesting insight there, looking at Hotel Grand from the Race Tree Stud.
Yes, it was. Isn't he a magnificent looking stallion?
Isn't he? It's an exceptional individual, and one that's going to be a prominent stallion in the Queensland breeding industry.
He will be. Now we move to race 4, the Hardy Brothers Jewellers Hampton Stakes, over 1,200 metres for the 2-year-olds. Jess, what are your selections here? What's taking your fancy? I know you'll be far afield.
It's quite a tricky race, but I like the local horse, number 14, Lucky Morna, from the Kelso Woods stable. I think this horse is definitely on the improve. We tipped it last start, and it did come to the fore at one and won well.
Got the bickies for you.
Chrissy Muntz aboard, and at 2-1 it was good value, and I think she'll win again. I like 14, Lucky Morna. I think Benefica is the horse that's going to trouble it the most from the Peter Snowden stable, and I like Larry Cassidy's Mount Dr. Itchy. I did think this horse could win, but it's drawn out in 16, and I think it's very tough to win from out there.
It is. You'll probably have to give Larry a paintbrush out there, won't we?
Yeah, out there in the car park.
All right, I've taken Benficta from the Snowden stables. I think they brought him up here, so I think he'll be very hard to beat. For second, I have chosen Noisy Ocean from the Brian Guy stable, resuming after a spell, was very consistent last time in. And for third, I have taken Dr. Itchy. So that's 4, 2 and 5.
Now we're going to catch up with Brisbane's leading jockey, Larry Cassidy. And welcome to our segment where we catch up with our leading Brisbane's jockey, Larry Cassidy. Welcome, Larry.
Thanks very much, Jess.
It's great having you on the show.
Great to be here, and it's going to give a great look into racing in Queensland.
That it will. Now, more importantly, it's Black Caviar week coming up this Saturday at Doomben, and looks very exciting.
Oh, look, it's a great draw card to Brisbane for all the fans to see an absolute champion racehorse. And you don't get many opportunities like this to go and see a horse like her perform. So very exciting, and it's going to be a huge crowd there on Saturday.
Oh, no doubt I'm going to be up there and looking forward to it very much. But more importantly for the punters out there, you're riding a horse called Buffering in the race. How do you fancy his chances?
Well, that's right. Buffering, look, he won first up the Victory Stakes after having a few minor setbacks. He's taken great improvement from the run. And look, I'm going into the race confident. I'm not going into the race thinking we're only racing for second or third prize money. Because if you do that, well, you can't win.
Yeah.
I'm going in thinking we can beat her, and hopefully there's a chink in her armour somewhere. I don't know where, but I think Buffering is going to look very cheeky inside the 250 metre mark.
Well, unfortunately, there will be another 250 metres to run, and no doubt Black Caviar's the horse to beat. She's a sheer champion, and well, all you can do is go out there and do your best on Buffering.
Exactly. We'll certainly be doing our best, and just hopefully Buffering puts its best foot forward and can salute.
And maybe Black Caviar just might have that chink in the armour. But then again, you've got Hay List, Black Piranha, Sniper's Bullet, Melito. It's a Group 1 field.
Most definitely worthy of a Group 1 field. And punters are going to certainly see a great spectacle on Saturday.
We talk about horses taking the next step and how they improve after a spell. What is it about a horse that requires them to take the next level from, say, being a Group 2 or Group 3 horse to the Group 1 level? What is it that changes that?
Look, I think it's when some horses are a little bit immature. Possibly, you look at a 2-year-old that's racing in races leading up to a race like the Golden Slipper, and they're running, getting beat 4 lengths, and then they go out for a spell, and they come back as a 3-year-old, and all of a sudden they go bang, 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 and start winning good races. And to take that improvement, they've matured, they've strengthened up, and that allows them to take that next step, which you need to take to get to Group 1 level.
So it's like a sort of a 16-year-old that's playing junior footy and then takes the next level to go to, sort of senior footy.
Yeah, that's correct.
Relative.
Gets stronger, builds up in strength. He's more musclier and a bit wiser for sure.
Now, do you think Buffering is a Group 1 champion or Group 1 horse?
He's definitely a Group 1 performer. He showed in the spring in Melbourne that he was up to them. He won a Group 2 race in Sydney. He ran 4th up against some very good 3-year-olds, and look, I think he's taken the next step, which he did need to do. He's definitely shown improvement after coming back from a spell, and he's most definitely worthy of being in this race.
Okay, moving on to your other rides, we're going to look at the quaddie that you're riding. You've got a mount in race 4, Dr. Itchy, I believe, for Bevan Laming.
That's correct. I won a 1,000-metre race on him at Eagle Farm, and he was actually my 2,300th winner. So he's a horse that's 2,300.
Really? Have you ridden that many winners?
I've ridden that many winners, believe it or not.
Geez, I wouldn't mind being on them all.
It'd be nice, all up, all up. So he's a horse that's a little bit special to me. And look, he's drawn 21, will come into 16, and punters may sort of avoid that, but he's a horse with brilliant gate speed, and he can put himself up there, and he's a very easy horse to manoeuvre. So I can see myself being maybe in front, behind the speed, 2nd or 3rd, and I think he'll give a good sight.
Drawn 21, the last horse I tipped that drew barrier 21 ended up with a parking ticket, so all the best out there. Moving on, we got race 5. You're riding a horse for Robbie Heathcote called Hummer. He looks to have a very good chance in the race. Yeah,
his run, he won the Toowoomba Cup 2 starts back and has run quite nicely since. He raced at Eagle Farm 2 weeks ago, where he probably looked disappointing and running 5th behind a couple of the other horses that he's up against in this race. All his better races have been at Doomben, funny enough. He's never won a race at Eagle Farm.
Really?
That's correct. So he's back at Doomben Saturday, and he'll certainly know that. And I expect a good showing from him from a good barrier.
Maybe he's a bit like Chief De Beers.
Yeah, well, that's right. Chief De Beers could only get warm at Doomben. So, Hummer's probably not as good as Chief De Beers, but he certainly looks happier at Doomben.
Oh, that's great. And now the last of the quaddie that you're riding is Quarter Bar for Michael Moroney.
I rode him 10 days ago at Eagle Farm midweek. He was short price favourite. Got back probably a little bit too far out of my ground, and I was under the stick with 600 metres to go, and he was going to run 7th or 8th, and he got to the 300 metre mark, and it's like he changed gears and said, okay, we're going to join in now. And he absolutely rattled home. And now that I've had a ride on him and know the horse, I'm hoping to get the best out of him, and he could be a knockout chance.
Well, there you go, punters. Quarter Bar, Michael Moroney, Larry Cassidy. It's drawn the 3, 56 kilos. What's a set weight race, so I might be going.
Look, he's a horse that has got a brilliant finish on him, and he will be finishing off the last bit.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, Larry. Thanks for joining us on Racing in Queensland.
Thanks very much, Jess.
No doubt you'll join us next week, and we're going to have another look into life of a jockey when he's not riding.
That'll be great. Give a great insight.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, Larry, and Larry will join us next week on Racing in Queensland. Bye.
Tomorrow is a very exciting day for Queensland as the Channel 7 Brisbane Racing Carnival launches with Racefest. The world's top racehorse, Black Caviar, will be at Doomben to compete in the Group 1 Bundaberg Distilling Company BTC Cup. The party atmosphere will be electric, with Bang Gang DJs providing a huge after-race performance. Tickets are still available through Ticketek, or for full details go to brc.com.au. Don't miss being a part of Brisbane history as Black Caviar runs in the Group 1 Bundaberg Distilling Company BTC Cup.
What an interesting segment again, catching up with Larry Cassidy.
Yes, he's got some good rides on Saturday, so
does.
it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
He's definitely Brisbane's leading jockey, and no doubt you can see why. He's in great form, and he's got a great book on Saturday.
He has indeed. All right, Jess, we move now to race 5, the Chairman's Handicap over the 2,020 metres. Almost a Cox Plate distance there, but I don't think there's a Cox Plate winner in these. All right, mate, what are you tipping?
I'm tipping the next Cox Plate winner.
Beautiful.
Hummer. I like Hummer on top. This horse is a horse that loves the track, loves the distance, and with Larry on board, drawn the 5, I think it's going to be very hard to beat. I'm putting Hummer on top. I'm putting In Cross the Start for second from the Bevan Lemming stable. Chrissy Muntz on board. It has got 58 kilos, which is going to be a hard task to win. But again, it loves the track, loves the distance. I'm putting it in for second, and I'm putting in number 9, last start winner, Royal Rain. So I'm tipping 7, 1 and 9.
7, 1 and 9. Very good, Jess. We don't agree as usual.
We never agree.
No, that's the best thing about us. Mate, I've from the Roger James stable, I've picked number 3, Firebolt. He's been in good form back in New Zealand, last start winner. Roger brings him over here for the Winter Carnival, and I think he'll be hard to beat. So that's number 3, Firebolt.
Can't win.
Second, I've thrown in, he can win all the way. Can win all the way, probably with a leg in the air, my friend. For second is number 4 from the Trevor Whittington stable, Femina Fashion. I think she'll be a very good chance. And for third is Shuffle the Cash from the Brian Guy stable. So for me, it's 3, 4 and 12.
Well, during the week, Paul, I caught up with Sydney trainer Con Kazanis.
Yes.
Who's up here with Black Piranha.
Exactly, and down the track.
And down the track. I'm with young trainer Con Kazanis. Con, how you been?
Very well, mate. Enjoying the average weather up here, actually.
You're up here on the Gold Coast competing in the Winter Carnival with your horse Black Piranha. How's he coming along?
Yeah, very well. He's first up since the Perth Carnival in November, December, so he's nice and fresh. He's still a little bit on the chubby side, but his run on Saturday will it's a good stepping stone for the Stradbroke.
His main target is the Stradbroke?
Yeah, for sure. He's won it the last 2 years, and he's pet distance, and he's 2 from 2 on the track. So no, that's our main goal.
His next start will be on Saturday.
His first up run will be on Saturday. I know he's got to match it up against Haylist and Black Caviar, but it's going to make it a little bit tough. He's going to be chasing some pretty good horses, but that's life, and we've got to just look forward, and we've set our goal, and that's the Stradbroke. So it's a perfect race for him to kick off in.
You also came up with another horse, News Alert. How's he coming along?
He's been. We've had a few problems with News Alert. He ran last Saturday in the Prime Minister's Cup, and he pulled up a little bit ordinary. He pulled up with bruising in his feet, so you have to really excuse his last run. So his run was quite well, considering the way he pulled up.
Just looking at you, you're not now 80 kilos, as we were just talking before. You used to be a jockey. How was life as a jockey?
Really, really enjoyed it, but probably starved for about 7 years. My old man ate all my food anyway, so gee. But don't worry, in the last few years I've kind of made up for it, so I'm a little bit on the porky side now, but I've got every right to be able to eat now.
How did you find the weight when you were riding?
It was very, very tough to keep off. I was always probably 15 hours of a day, always trying to do something, trying to always diet, sauna, run, jog, just trying to do everything possible to keep the weight off. I probably tried every single diet possible, and they all work for a while, and then the body just found a kind of different way to stack the weight on. I'm a probably 80 kilo bloke trying to ride 55 or 56.
It must be very hard and taxing on the body.
It was.
And mentally?
It was a lot, very, very mentally tough, very, very draining. It's a type of job where you need to be mentally focused 110%, not so much physically. So that was probably the hardest thing about it was being mentally right on race day, and I did manage to get a good balance between my body and my mind. So I ended up riding for about 7 years when I probably only should have rode for about 6 months. So no, I done a pretty good job considering.
Do you feel the side effects of that strain today?
Yes and no. Like, you find, I don't know, a few of the boys that are riding now, they'll probably find after a few years, like, the body still isn't as mobile as what you'd think it would be after retiring. Like, you still get that tiredness, like very, very drained, and always just looking for a bit of a break. But you kind of get used to it, and you just got no option. You got to work. You got to keep going.
That's right. Well, Con, good luck with Black Piranha on Saturday, and thank you for joining us on Racing in Queensland.
No problems. See you later.
Well, an interesting insight there with Black Piranha, and looks like he might be competitive on Saturday.
Oh, he will be. I mean, he'll be very, very competitive in the race, but I think they'll have him set for the Stradbroke Handicap again, which will be his ultimate aim this campaign.
As Con was saying in the interview, you sold him as a weanling and a yearling.
Yeah, as a weanling and a yearling. He went through the Magic Million sales, so it's great to have graduates like that running around for us in the Group 1s on the weekend.
Can you recall the price that he bought?
Yeah, I think it was 30,000 as a yearling off the top of my head. Not much for a horse that's won a couple $1 million.
Well, 2.5 million to be exact.
Yeah, exactly. Glad you're exact.
A nice little investment there, 30 grand for 2.5 million.
That's what you get when you come into the racing industry.
That's right. Race 6.
Race 6, we're on to the Rough Habit Plate. Also over the 2,020 metres. It's for the 3-year-olds, lead-up race to the Derby. What have you picked out here? What have you found for me?
I think there's an absolute special here.
There's a moral, isn't there?
A moral
and you tipped it last time too, and it was a moral.
It was 10-1, and I tipped it a special, and I'm tipping it a special again. I like Chateau Fort. This is a horse by Kompensky, no doubt a good stayer, and I think this horse will have no troubles getting the 2,000 metres. It has drawn the 11, but with Damien Brown on board, this horse has had 4 starts for 3 wins. 3 wins have been this preparation. Paul Massara is getting the best out of this horse, and no doubt this horse is the one to beat. I like 14, Quarter Bar for second, and number 4, Hour of Peril for third. But I think Chateau Fort, no doubt, is the best bet of the day, besides Black Caviar. And number 14, Quarter Bar for second, and 4, Hour of Peril, 13, 14 and 4, Paul.
13, 14 and 4. Very good.
3, sorry.
That's what I would have thought.
What do you like?
Mate, I actually like number 2, Eagles Star from the Kelso Wood stable. What did it run? It ran third, behind. Yeah, it did, behind Chateau Fort last start. Was running on, so I think it'll be a big hope. For second, I like Chateau Fort. I think it's a big improver. Certainly has improved since it was up here. Your tip last time. I'll be honoured in the Queensland Derby. And for third, I've thrown in number 1, Equessential. So my numbers are 2, 3 and 1. So what's happening next week, Jess? What are you bringing us?
Well, there's a bumper issue next week.
Bumper issue?
A bumper issue.
Sounds like a woman's weekly.
We've got Monashee Mountain. Again, we're out at Race 3 Stud, and we're looking at the local stallion out there, Monashee Mountain. We've got an interview with leading Brisbane trainer Robbie Heathcote. We're going to have Brisbane's leading jockey Larry Cassidy, and an insight into Larry's life outside of racing in terms of what he does to keep his weight off.
Yeah, mate, it's interesting what the public will find it interesting, because the jockeys really put themselves through a lot to get their weight off and to keep their weight stabilised. So it's quite interesting for them to see what they actually have to put themselves through.
Well, like I was talking to Black Piranha's trainer Con, he was a jockey, he was a jockey out there, and at one stage he was 65 kilos and he had 2 days to get down to 58. So you could just imagine the pain that you've got to go through.
Oh, exactly. It's a lot of stress on their bodies.
And then 3 days later, he was 73 kilos.
It's
and
amazing.
then he decided it was time to give it up.
As you would.
So there's the pain that the jockey, that's the life and pain of a jockey, but it'll be very interesting to see how Larry manages it.
It will be. We'll look forward to that next week.
We will. So thanks for joining us for another episode, well, our first episode of Racing in Queensland. Join us next week, same time, same place. Bye for now.
Cheerio.